Hello everyone, good evening. So I welcome you all to this live session which is on current affairs. Okay, so we will go live in this session where we will discuss about various important topics from the past 13 months current affairs, which has been covered via various newspapers, magazines, and also some of the news that have been collected from some of the reputed institutions across India. Okay, where we will discuss various number of affairs associated with the UPSC or the APSC preparations. Even the people who are looking us live or who are viewing us live, even for the UPSC preparation, even they will also help them out from this number of current affairs, basically from Northeast as well as from Assam and the national news. Okay, so we will see about the affairs of current affairs that we can see in this current events of time. So let's start with the today's analysis. Okay, so the first topic basically says about commissioning India's first indigenous aircraft carrier, which was INS Vikrant. So you all know probably that INS Vikrant originally belonged to India's first aircraft carrier, okay, which was acquired from the UK, and it played a vital role in the 1971 war with Pakistan before it was decommissioned around 1997. Okay, so by the Indian Navy in-house Warship Design Bureau, that is the WDB, and built in by the Cochin Shipyard Limited, which is a public sector shipyard under the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways. This has been built with the state-of-the-art automation features and is the largest ship ever built in maritime history of India. So that is one of the crucial aspects why you need to see and know about this INS Vikrant. So you can see Prime Minister Narendra Modi during the commissioning ceremony of the first indigenously designed and built aircraft carrier INS Vikrant at the Cochin Shipyard Limited in Kochi on Friday. Where is this Kochi? This is in Kerala. Okay. So obviously we are talking about the western front, basically the front of the Arabian Sea. Okay. So that is the criteria of this indigenous aircraft carrier. Okay. So what about aircraft carrier? So aircraft carrier is defined as what? It is a large ship. Let me take out the pen. So you can see that it is a large ship that carries military aircrafts and has a long flat surface where they take off and basically land. So supposedly if this is a long ship like this, okay, so we can see helicopters over there, we can see various number of this aircrafts, okay, which are mainly for reconnaissance, which are mainly for attack, okay, and also for various number of surveillance. So এইবিলাকৰ কাৰণে আমি এই aircraft carrier to use কৰো, which is very much important on this respective element. So the full length flight deck on the floating air basis is outfitted to transport, arm, deploy and recover aircraft, which is one of the very important aspect of this particular number of thing, which is known as the aircraft carrier. So we can see that this INS Vikrant, which we all told, okay, so this has got its respective design made up by the Warship Design Bureau, and we know that this ship is capable of operating on air wing consisting of around 30 aircrafts comprising of MiG-29K. MiG-29K, okay, which are fighter jets and even some of the helicopters like the MH-60 helicopters. Okay, also we can see about the Kamov 31 helicopters, which we basically acquired from Russia. So obviously we can see in addition to this indigenously manufactured advanced light helicopters and light combat aircraft, which is basically of Navy. So the ship can accommodate an assortment of fixed weight and even can go with an aircraft basis, which is having a good number of power and capacity with respective to these elements. So we know that this type of aircraft carrier is basically needed by India, because we know that we wants to be in the allied group of nations which has got aircraft carriers, be it USA, be it Russia, be it the France, be it the UK as well as China. Okay, so therefore it's a shining example in the nation's quest for Atmanirbhar Bharat. And also the concept of Made in India has been flourished, okay, where we can see that this aircraft carrier is basically made, where I can guarantee you that 76% of this aircraft is indigenously made. Okay, so that is one of the good examples set by our aircraft carrier and also by the Bureau of Navy, which has directly gone with the respective design of this particular carrier, that is the aircraft carrier. So considering the current geopolitical situation and the strategic importance along the maritime domain, India needs to have at least 3 aircraft carriers. Today we have what? INS Vikrant and Vikramaditya. So India's stake in the Indian Ocean region is greater than in the high Himalayas. And India being the only member country of the Quad, the role of India's Navy is becoming very important nowadays. Okay, because today if I see at the proximity of the Indian Ocean region and along every countries in the Indian Ocean region, I can guarantee you that none can be compared with the might of Indian Navy. So therefore today we could see that the Navy shall be organized, trained and equipped for the peacetime promotion of national security interest, and also I can say that if I need prosperity and tranquility in the region of the Indian Ocean region, which is also once amongst the sea lines of communication connecting the Indo-Pacific, we thereby need to have a dominance in this region, and thereby we need to enhance our capabilities basically with the Navy. Okay, so that was with respect to the news, which is the INS Vikrant. Next, Assam Human Rights Commission. So why it has in news? So it's got a permanent address in Guwahati. So address to Korasile at Rupnagar, and this was basically on 3rd September 2022 at 12 noon. So you can see the building of Assam Human Rights Commission. Okay, so you can see that this was inaugurated by Himanta Biswa Sarma in august presence of Mr. Justice R.M. Chaya, Honorable Chief Justice of the Guwahati High Court of that time, and Honorable Chairperson of Assam Human Rights Commission, that is Justice T. YP. Okay, so this was the building. So yate just because it was in news, etu karone moi cover kori loisu. Yat olop kotha ta janile hol that the State Human Rights Commission, which was constituted by the Government of India in around 1996 to address the public grievances relating to the human rights as per the Protection of Human Rights Act of 1993. Okay, so today we have seen that they have got a respective investigation cell, they have got an administration cell. Okay, also if I say about the funds associated with the Assam State Human Rights Commission, so the state government provides funds for the commission for its functioning under the grant in aid, salary as well as non-salary, under the major head of account which is drawn and disbursed by the Secretariat Administration, that is the Accounts Department. Okay, so therefore we can see that this State Human Rights Commission is very essential to maintain the 78,438 square kilometer of Assam, which has got a population of around 3 crore, and therefore we can see that any number of human rights violations associated with this population could be made and tackled by the Assam State Human Rights Commission under the wing of National Human Rights Commission. Okay, so that was in association with this particular element of the commission. So you can see this building, very beautiful building. Okay, so maybe they work in a beautiful way in the coming times. Okay. Next, PM to inaugurate Kartavy Path, unveil Netaji statue today. So yate main amar focus to kot thakibo lagibo, amar focus to thakibo lage Kartavy Pathor upor. Okay, so Kartavy Path. So when I say about the Kartavy Path, I can directly say that Kartavy Path, where at India Gate the Prime Minister unveiled the statue of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and officially opened the Kartavy Path. So Kartavy Path boli mo jetia kom, then I can directly say that this was basically the Rajpath which we had seen at some period of time. Okay, so Rajpath was renamed, or this whole path was directly renamed to this particular name which is known as Kartavy Path, which is a stretch from Rashtrapati Bhavan to India Gate that will have red granite walkways. Okay, and this is basically the plan for New India in Amrit Kal, removing any trace of colonial mindset. So India has directly worked okay, for the renovance of any form of name which has got some of the British connotations. So I have seen that there is a good brief history of Rajpath. Rajpath or history asile, because called Kingsway during British rule, the 3-kilometer stretch was built as a ceremonial boulevard by Edward Lutyens and Herbert Baker, the architects of New Delhi, which is more than 100 years ago. So the capital of the Raj moved to New Delhi from Calcutta in around 1911, as we all know, and construction continued for several years thereafter. So therefore, Lutyens conceptualized the modern imperial city that is centered around a ceremonial excess. Okay, so what is the Kartavy Path and its significance? So I can say that this entire stretch and the area from the Netaji statue under the grand canopy to the Rashtrapati Bhavan will be known as Kartavy Path, as I have said you. So this Kartavy Path includes the erstwhile Rajpath and also the Central Vista Lawns. Central Vista Lawns. Okay, so it includes both, that is the Rajpath and the Central Vista Lawns. So Kartavy Path will exhibits landscapes, lawns with walkways and also green spaces, and even I can say about it will go for some of the refurbished canals, amenity blocks, improved signages and also vending kiosk. So this Kartavy Path will also include a number of sustainability features. It may be like solid waste management, storm water management, recycling of used water, rainwater harvesting, water conservation and also energy efficient lighting systems. So therefore today we know that the revamped and the expanded lawns on both the sides of the erstwhile Rajpath are a part of the larger Central Vista project, where a new triangular parliament building along with the central secretariat and several other government officials are being rebuilt. So today we know that Subhash Chandra Bose birthday is also known as what? Parakram Divas, which is on 23rd January. Okay, so therefore we have seen the Subhash Chandra Bose statue is being very much dedicated in the canopy of this particular Kartavy Path. Okay, and this will be completed under a period of time, okay, where we are directly demanding the erection of this particular person's statue in this region, which will showcase his contribution towards the freedom movement and towards the humanity that we have during the period of time where people faced with a many number of atrocities, and what are his contributions we can directly lay down through. So that is the reason why we need to have and why needs to have this topic in this particular current affairs. Chalo. Coming to the next one. India to design, build reusable locket for global market. Okay. So it is basically saying about what? Just you should know about what is reusable launch vehicle, which is also told as what? RLV. So it's a type of spacecraft that is designed to be reused multiple times for launching what? Payloads into space, instead of being discarded after a single launch like traditional rockets. So these are seen as more cost effective and sustainable option for space launches, as they reduce the need for manufacturing new rockets for each mission. So they typically consist of a reusable orbiter similar to space shuttle and a reusable booster that provides the initial thrust that is needed to lift the orbiter and payload into space. So after the payload is released into the orbit, the orbiter and the booster return to Earth and land back on our runway, where they can be refurbished and reused for future launches. So while developing this RLV is a very big feat for a country like India and ISRO, that is the Indian Space Research Organization. See, developing these RLVs are very crucial for us because these are heat resistant materials and they protect the spacecraft during the re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. Also, because it is advanced guided and control system for landing, so it will obviously not affect anyone who is basically living inside this planet. So also this is very much reliable propulsion systems for launching and landing, for which we are directly using this basic railway, for which we are basically using this technology, so that we can protect and we can reuse such number of materials in the coming time. Today, if I see about the ISRO, which is developing essential technologies for a fully reusable launch vehicle to enable the low cost access to space. So in that category, I can directly say about RLVTD. Okay, so what is this RLVTD? So it is being used to develop technologies like hypersonic flights, autonomous landing, and also return flight experiments, powered cruise flight, and also scramjet propulsion experiments. So it looks like an aircraft and consists of fuselage, a nose cap, delta wings, so but yes, it is something which is to be renewed at a particular instant of time, and it will use various number of this particular frequency, so as to make this to be used in the upcoming times. So today I can see that 2016 already experiment hoi goise. Okay, today I can say that in April 2nd, 2023, recently, the second RLV experiment was also done. Okay, which is lifting the RLV LEX, okay, to a height of around 4.5 kilometer. Okay, so therefore this reusable launch vehicle are considered a low cost, reliable and on-demand mode of accessing space. So therefore the cost of launch can be reduced by nearly 80% of the present cost by using RLVs. As যদি আমার 100 টাকা গৈ আছে আমি 20 টাকা লে আনিব পাৰো. So that is one of the advantage of these vehicles, and therefore this was basically news, and therefore you should know about the idea of this RSLV. Okay, next কি কলে whistleblowers Victor arrest draws sharp reactions. Among news to iman dorkar nai, amak lage ki what is basically this whistleblower. So whistleblower ki hoy? He is a person who discloses information to the public or some higher authority about any wrongdoings, which could be in the front of fraud, corruption, etc. So when someone gives the correct information to the right people, the person has made a protected disclosure and is a whistleblower. So when a whistleblower makes a protected disclosure, he is afforded protections established by various whistleblower protection in laws and policies. So it may involve criminal conduct, it may involve unethical practices, and also it's a threat to health, safety or welfare of the general public or employees. Or it might involve treating employees unfairly within the firm. So history has proven that informers who reveal information to others have always existed. Whistleblowers were a concept that never existed even in that not never, I can say that it even existed in ancient India. Jodi moi aji ancient India kotha kom, okay, whistleblower existed then only. During the time of medieval India, we have seen the existence of whistleblower. Even today, we can see the existence of whistleblower. So therefore, Kautilya at that point of time in his Arthashastra, he said that, or he proposed that any informant who provides information receives 1/6 of the reward, and any government employee receives 1/12 of the reward. So today we have seen about the recent examples in India about whistleblowers. Here the first kiya hai NHAI scam. NHAI scam. Okay, yate ejon manu involved asile Satyendra Dubey, if I am not wrong. Satyendra Dubey, who killed in 2003, revealed many tenders and a political criminal nexus in the construction sector, specifically highway construction. Even I can say about another scam, supposedly the Satyam scam. You can quote these examples. Satyam scam, who uncovered the corruption and fraudulent audits in the Delhi Metro Rail. So এইবিলাক আছিল Satyam scam. You can see about even the Vyapam scam. কোন হৈছিল? Vyapam, Madhya Pradesh. Vyapam scam, Madhya Pradesh. So it was with respect to the problems and practices happening in Madhya Pradesh, in the Madhya Pradesh exam board, amongst the exam candidates, the middlemen, and even the government officials. So, so there are benefits of whistleblowing. Okay, so we can see that we can end corruption through this whistleblowing process. So there are benefits of whistleblowing, but at some point of time, we need to even protect these whistleblowers, where I can face a good number of challenges, because someone who is leaking that particular information, he directly comes under the radar of the people who are getting trapped. Okay, so we have got some of the legislation of whistleblowers in India, which is directly the Companies Act of 2013. Companies Act of 2013. So Companies Act of 2013 provides certain companies should provide a vigilance mechanism to report genuine concerns of the states that certain mechanisms will be accompanied by adequate safeguards. Also, if I say about SEBI, so SEBI is also going with various number of regulations to reward the whistleblowers and other informants for sharing the information about inside trading cases. Also, there has been an act which is known as the Whistleblowers Act of 2014. Okay, and the law created a legal mechanism to deal with the complaints about allegations of corruptions or intentional misuse of power or discretion against any public servant to investigate the cause of investigation of such allegations. So therefore you should know about properly about Whistleblowers Act, and even there is a thing which is known as Officer Secret Acts of 1923. So obviously whistleblower kori obviously etur bahirot jabo nalage. So there is a particular secrecy that needs to be maintained within the office. So we are bound under this OSA so as to not leak any number of information, and even if this information is leaked, then obviously he will not be rendered a whistleblower. So if he is directly going for allegations, he should be proper with his allegations that this is maintaining some number of malpractices going in the respective society. So a kotha to ahi jay whistleblower under a point to. Next, Lok Adalats. Okay, Lok Adalats. So Lok Adalats boli bole ki bujo ami? So what is the definition of Lok Adalats? So Lok Adalats is one of the substitute of dispute redressal mechanism, and therefore we can see that it's a forum where cases or disputes which are incomplete in the court of law is compromised cordially. So Lok Adalat is having a chairman, 2 members and 1 social worker. So the chairman must be sitting or retired judicial officer, and the other 2 members should be a lawyer. So therefore I can say that they have got some due rights with respective to a judiciary, and therefore they cannot be rendered to be a judicial body, or rather they could be called as some of the areas where they are quasi-judicial in nature. They are not fully judicial, they are quasi-judicial in nature. And therefore, if I refer to this, so you can see it means People's Code and is based on Gandhian principles. So it is one of the component of the alternative dispute resolution and delivers informal, cheap and expedient justice to the common people. So therefore, if I see about the first Lok Sabha camp which was organized in Gujarat in 1982 as a voluntary and conciliatory agencies, which was given a statutory status under the Legal Service Authority Act 1987. Okay, so a bostu to ahi jay legal etu mane ki etu national hobo lage, actually National Legal Service Authority Act, jitu ami NALSA boli kau. Okay, so that comes under this particular element of legal security acts. So a bostu to ahile amar kihor oporot ahile amar Lok Adalatsar oporot. So you can see the functions: provide relief to under trials and in some cases convicted prisoners. Okay, and then objective switch withdrawal cases and reduce the congestion in various jails. So etu ahile Lok Adalatsar kothar oporot. Next, Vedanta Foxconn signs MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with Gujarat government to set up semiconductor unit in the state with rupees 1.54 lakh crore investment. So yate mainly amar main target to ki hoy semiconductor. Semiconductor ki hoy? These are critical technological components for emerging technologies with artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, applications, 5G, okay, cloud computing, automation, okay, electric vehicles, with a wide coverage of applications from basic consumable electronic gadgets and automobiles to areas of strategic operations. So আজি যদি মই ইলেক্ট্ৰিকেল সেমিকন্ডাক্টৰৰ কথা কওঁ, ৰেজিস্টাৰ আহিব ইয়াতে, কেপাচিটাৰ আহিব ইয়াতে, ওকে, ডায়োডছ আহিব ইয়াতে, ট্ৰানজিস্টাৰ্ছ আহিব ইয়াতে, ওকে, সাৰ্কিটছ আহিব ইয়াতে, ওকে, OP amperes আহিব ইয়াতে. So today India's consumption of semiconductor is expected to cross around $80 million. $80 million by kiman 2025. Can you think of India going as a main market of semiconductors, which is expected to grow around $80 billion. I'm saying million, na? Billion, sorry. $80 billion by 2026, and is expected to reach around $110 billion by kiman 2030. By 2030. So $80 billion by 2026 and $110 billion by 2030. बहुत बेसी এটা ডাঙৰ মার্কেট হয়. So India has exceptional semiconductor design talent pool, which is accounting for around 20% of the world's semiconductor design engineers. So the current decade presents a unique opportunity for India, and companies are directly looking today to diversify their supply chain and alternatives to their bases in China. So the establishment of the value chain for semiconductors would ensure a multiplier effect on the entire economy of India. So the semiconductor manufacturing and testing bases are heavily concentrated in East Asia today. And today, the India's APSC policy may directly have an opportunity to conduct and strengthen with these key players in this region. But yes, today we have got challenges with respect to the semiconductor industry, because today we know that the semiconductor industry requires a huge amount of investment. Also, it needs a huge amount of water and electrical supply. And today we can see that inadequate logistics and absence of proper waste has made the semiconductor production in our country very much of rigid and slow. But still, India is never lagging behind. India wants opportunity in every sectors, be it semiconductors, be it trade, everything. So today we have got a good number of initiatives taken by India. Supposedly today, if I say about the Semicon India program, which provide a $10 billion fiscal support and other non-fiscal measures basically to produce semiconductors in our country. Also, the Indian Semiconductor Mission, okay, has also adopted various strategies to produce a good number of semiconductors. So also this number of schemes are been linked with various number of incentive schemes so that India could directly benefit out from making such number of semiconductors, directly taking a help from the government. Okay, so that is the criteria why today we are directly calling out Vedanta Foxconn Science MOU with the Gujarat government. It is to make a good number of semiconductors out of the semiconductor industry's diversity that we have today in our country. Okay, so A2 asile A2 report, that is semiconductors. Next ki ahi jabo Police Act Amendment Bill introduced. Okay, so A2 asile mainly Assamor logot. Okay, so we can see that Parliamentary Affairs Minister Piyush Hazarika introduced the Police Amendment Bill and introduced the bill on behalf of Chief Minister, who also holds the Home portfolio, pertaining to the establishment, power and function of district accountability to make the district accountability authority functional in a police range comprising a group of police districts. Okay, so therefore this particular bill, okay, will have a comprehensive data, okay, to amend the relevant sections of the Assam Police Act of 2007, which is pertaining to the powers and function of the state level police accountability commission. Okay, so Assam government on this has also said that they have taken various number of several decisions to make up the police under this respective commission, and through this bill the establishment of the district accountability authority in each police districts or groups of districts is being conducted. And under the amended provision of the bill, certain categories have been removed from giving explanations under serious misbehavior in respect of complaints made to the state level accountability commission against any policeman. Okay, so a bostu to ahile through this particular amendment, and therefore this bill was basically introduced So অলপ চাই লবা, this is very important bill. Okay, ইয়াৰ লগতে দুখন তিনিখন মান বিল আছে, supposedly Girijananda Chaudhary University Assam bill, then Auniyati University bill, okay, and Pragjyotispur University bill in the assembly. So this has basically been pending under the Assam assembly. Okay, chalo next. DGFT permits invoicing payment settlement of trade in rupee. Okay, so yate DGFT er kotha ahi gol. DGFT mane ami ki buju? Ami buju the Directorate General of Foreign Trade. Okay, so Directorate General of Foreign Trade boli kole ki hoy? So this has got various number of functions of our country. The first function is to implement the foreign trade or export import policy for the government, which ami ko EXIM boli, export import policy. Aru amar eta EXIM bank o ase, etu janibo lage. Okay, so obviously implementing the foreign trade or EXIM policy of the government, and also it will provide a complete database of all exports and importers in India. So therefore promoting the trade between India and her neighboring countries and even with the extended neighborhood countries, it plays a vital role in entitlements of various accounts relating to the exporters or the importers. Okay, so India recently ki korisile the DGFT permits invoicing payment settlements of trade in rupee. So আজি june amar logot rupee trade koribo bisarise. Okay, so for them we will directly make this particular organization, that is the DGFT, which will allow the ministry which deals with export, and they will allow that they will put in place every form of activities associated with the dealing of any forms of export and import in the amount of rupee. So hetu karone a DGFT news asile. So you have to know about what is DGFT and what type of things it has directly permitted and what are its respective functions. Okay, so ekhini bostu janile era likhao ase that administers laws are related to foreign trade and foreign investment in India. Okay, so main mandate is to what? Promote exports from India, and it is attached body of the Ministry of Commerce, Industry, Government of India. So who is the head? He is the Director General of Foreign Trade. He also is the apex position of the Indian Trade Services. So the DGFT was formed in 1981, where the LGP, that is the Liberation, Globalization and Privatization, or LPG policies of the government took off. Okay, so you can directly look off from this reforms of 1981. Chalo, next, Mission Amrit Sarovar. Okay, which is a vision of Karma Yogi Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, and the construction of this element, that is the construction of 2625 Amrit Sarovars, begin across Assam on 17 September 2022. So what is this Amrit Sarovar? So this mission was basically launched on 24th April 2022 in a view to conserve water for the future. So the mission aimed at developing and rejuvenating 75 water bodies in each district of the country as a part of celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So in total, it would lead to a creation of around 50,000 water bodies of size about an acre or more. And this mission encourages mobilization of citizens and non-government resources for supplementing these efforts. So who are the ministries that are associated with this particular Amrit Sarovar? You can say the Department of Rural Development, okay, then the Department of Land Resources, then Drinking Water and Sanitation, then Water Resources, Panchayati Raj, and also the Ministry of Forest, Environment and Climate Change. Okay, so today we can see that the main target is to be completed, and therefore the 50,000 Amrit Sarovars, which are the water bodies, will be constructed. And even jodi moi aji kotha kau about the bills which has been cleared by the Assam government. Okay, এই গোটেই বিল বিলাক যিবিলাকৰ কাৰণে আমাৰ মাছ this চলি আছে ইয়াতে যিবিলাক আমাৰ demolition চলি আছে in the respective wetlands of Assam. So এইবিলাকৰ আন্ডাৰতে আহে, that is the Amrit Sarovar. Okay, so therefore we can see that this will directly create in Assam construction of around 2625 Amrit Sarovars. It was our important, and which begin across Assam on 17 September 2022. So আজি আমাৰ যিমান বিলাক bills আছে or wetlands or illegal construction আছে এইবিলাক সব demolish কৰা গৈছে just to make and implement such number of activities that is in association with Amrit Sarovar. Okay, so what is the salient features of the Assam model? Yate minimum 75 Amrit Sarovars in district, minimum 1 hectare lagibo. Implementation convergence mode involving Chief Minister, Samagra Gramya Unyan, then Panchayat and Rural Development Department, livelihood avenues through pisciculture and 3-layer commerce plantation, women empowerment through commerce activities by cluster level federation, and provision of solar lights, flag posts, and working shed for user groups. So এইবিলাক আছিলে salient features of the Assam model. Next আহি যাও, ceremonial launch of one-time financial assistance under Indira Miri Universal Window Pension Scheme. Okay, ক'ব লগা একো নাই, just এটা কথাই, Assam Chief Minister has announced a one-time financial assistance of rupees kiman 2.5 lakh crore. Rupees 2.5 lakh crore. Okay, sorry, not crore, 2.5 lakh. কেতিয়াবা অলপ মই পাগল হৈ যাওঁ, কেতিয়াবা কিছুমান US dollar কোন ৰুপিত ক'লে অলপ কনফিউজন হোৱা যায়. So we can see 2.5 lakh crore, আকৌ আহিল না crore, 2.5 lakh, sorry. So for the women to the state who has lost her husband in the COVID-19. So this financial assistance will be provided by the Chief Minister's Relief Fund, and those women will also be entitled to the benefits of the Orunodoi scheme and the ongoing Indira Miri Universal Widow Pension Scheme. So that is the core aspect of this particular element, which is the Indira Miri Universal Widow Pension Scheme. So yate koi ase? Okay, so yate as an immediate family assistance diya jabo, okay, 25,000 rupees. Then you can see that benefits 45 years of age who have lost their husbands. This widow pension scheme is going to benefit around 2.4 lakh widows. So widow below the age of 45 and residents of Assam. Yeah, eligibility. Chalo. India Egypt signs MOU to boost defense cooperation. Okay, so recently on the occasion of 74th Republic Day, the President of Egypt was invited as a chief guest, and this is the first time that an Egyptian president has been accorded this honor. So yeah, the board kini amar hoise, that is mainly on terrorism and defense. So during the Republic Day meeting, India and Egypt expressed concern about the spread of terrorism around the world. Okay, and it is the most seriously security threat to humanity. So consequently, the two countries agreed the concerted action that is necessary, and also it talked about the prevalence and the prevention of the cross-border terrorism. So these two countries are looking at deepening defense and security cooperation, and moreover, the two air forces collaborated on the development of fighter aircrafts in the 1960s, and Indian pilots trained their Egyptian counterparts from the 1960s until the mid-1980s. So both the Indian Air Force and the Egyptian Air Force fly the French Rafale fighter jets. That is one of the common aspects of India and Egyptian Air Force. So in 2022 also, India and Egypt signed a pact between these two countries. They have decided to participate in exercise and cooperate in trainings. So if I say about the first joint special force exercise between the Indian Army and the Egyptian Army is Exercise Cyclone 1, which is also very important. Exercise Cyclone 1. Okay, so this Exercise Cyclone 1 has been underway since when? Since 14 January 2023. Okay, and this was held recently where? In Jaisalmer in Rajasthan. Jaisalmer in Rajasthan. Okay, one of the important criteria. So আজি এনেকুৱা নহয় যে আজি আমাৰ ডিফেন্স কোঅপাৰেচন আছে, we have got all other cooperation. Supposedly আজি মই কালচাৰেল কোঅপাৰেচনটো দেখাব পাৰো। So today if I have to say about the cultural cooperations, okay, so cultural cooperations আছে আমাৰ লগত. So the Maulana Azad Center for Indian Culture is also having some number of activities in association with the culture, okay, which was established in Cairo in 1982. So therefore today this is the directly the collaboration of the culture that we have towards Egypt as well as with India. Okay, and also from India, Egypt is seeking investment in infrastructure code, including a metro project, including the Suez Canal project, okay, to create a new administrative capital in Egypt near to the Suez Canal. So therefore all these strategic regions are there for us to have a collaboration, and even we can see that more than 50 Indian companies have invested in this country with around US dollar 3.15 billion. So এইবিলাক কাৰণে today we are directly having a good cooperation, and because of its strategic location near to the Suez Canal, and it directly acts as a gap between the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea, we can directly have a good number of cooperation with this country, and therefore such number of things has been directly aimed for. Okay, so here likha ase exercise cyclone 1 এইবিলাক চাই লবা পিছত. Okay, next আহিবা I2U2 লৈ. So I2U2 groupings of India, Israel, UAE and US express commitment to deepen economic partnerships. So we all know about the I2U2. So I2U2 was initially formed in October 2021, okay, following the Abraham Records. Following Abraham Records. Okay, so that is one of the criteria between Israel and UAE to deal with the issues concerning maritime security, infrastructure and transport in the region. And at that time it was called the International Forum for Economic Cooperation, and it was also referred to as what? West Asian Quad. So the moi ko ase East Asia Quad. Okay, so it kon ase? India ase, Japan ase, USA ase, Australia ase. Okay, so ebilak ase. So today we know that I2 initiative is a new grouping of these 4 countries. Okay, and this is a great achievement which tells the geopolitical challenges and changes that will happen in the region concerning these countries. And this will not only revitalize and re-energize the system of alliances and partnerships around the world, but it will also stitch together partnerships that did not exist previously or were not utilized to the full extent. So as it to not only economic cooperation, it will have significance in security cooperation. Okay, it will have significance towards the technological hubs, saying about biotechnology. It will say about food security. Also, it will say about various different fields that we need to work together. So today, we can see that India will directly get the advantage of the Abraham Accords to deepen engagement with Israel without risking its ties with UAE as well as other Arab states. And India is a massive consumer market, which is having a massive producer of high-tech and highly sought after goods as well. And India will directly benefit from this program. And also, it will help India building alliances. It may be a political alliance, it may be a social alliance, it may be an economic alliance. So, a good this I2U2 program, which is basically a result of the Abraham Accords between Israel and UAE. Okay, chalo. Coming to the next one. SC to hear petition challenging scrapping of Article 370. So here I have already discussed you in the internal security portion about Article 370. So we all know that Article 370 was a constitutional provision that was given to Jammu and Kashmir its special status, and this provision was incorporated by the Part 21 of the Indian Constitution. Okay, and also we know about that it restricted the Parliament's legislative power with respect to the state of J&K. Okay, so obviously this was scrapped recently in 2019 alongside Article 35A. Okay, our take loi pela eta challenge kora goisile in this current context, and therefore this was a news. So yate just ami jitu abrogation hoisile of the Article 370 and also with the Jammu and Kashmir Resettlement Act. Okay, jitu hoisile সেই বস্তুটো লৈ পেলাই আমি অলপ কনসার্ন হৈ আছো তো সেই বস্তুটো আমি অকমান চাব লাগিব সেইখিনি I think it will be more than sufficient for you to know about the versities of this particular article 370 তাৰ বাহিৰে ইয়াতে ইমান একো নাই next SC reserves verdict on pleas challenging centers 10% EWS quota okay that is the economically weaker section quota so today we know that the 103 constitutional amendment cannot be said to the bridge of the basic structure of the constitution and we know that 103 to PSL it provides 10% reservation for the economically weaker sections among forward castes in government jobs and colleges across India. So this reservation is an instrument of affirmative action by the state for the inclusion of the backward classes who are amongst the top classes but they are economically backward. Okay, but we can see that this is directly going against the 50% rule formed by the Supreme Court in the Indira case of 1982, which was also not very much inflexible. So therefore today we could see that various number of people has got different interpretations with respect to the majority view as well as the minority view. So this 10% EWS quota was introduced okay in 2019 by amending Article 15 and 16 of the Indian Constitution which comes under the fundamental rights. So it is for economic reservation in jobs and admissions and also it was enacted to promote the welfare of the poor not covered by the 50% reservation basically for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and socially and educationally backward classes. So obviously it has got a good significance. EWS ki korisile it addresses inequality okay inequality to address korisile that is one of the core significance of this particular EWS okay a significance to first asile okay then we can see that here the another significance is that what the another significance is not to go ahead for non-recognition of economically backwards. So here another significance is how economically backwards peoples are to be recognized. That is according to the SECC data. Also, here it is to reduce the caste-based discrimination that we can see. But yet, बहुत किनी concerns আছে, unavailability data আছে, okay, arbitrary criteria কিছুমান আছে, okay, which is vague and not based on any data or study. কেনেকে উলাল গমে নাপালো এইবিলাক বস্তু. So therefore, because of this, there is a particular clash that has happened, and therefore SC reserves verdict on pleas challenging. So SCA college, we uphold the validity, okay. But yes, we can see that there are various confusion across states and across caste groups with respect to this particular element, and therefore we need to revise this particular subject or this particular amendment so that we can make a proper view of this particular element, which is known as the EWS quota. Okay, chalo. Next kya hai? P1 PM Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. So center is asked to increase the enrollments under the two major micro insurance schemes, namely the Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Yojana and Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana. Okay, so duta scheme or kotha koise Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana or Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana. Okay, so ये दुटा कथा कोइसे. So याते की ऐसे साइलो हमी. So याते कोइसे provident and natural accidental death. Okay, जन सुरक्षा. Okay, so it was की होर पर प्रधानमंत्री जीवन ज्योति बीमा योजना. Okay, premium rupees 330 per year and it would 3 crore perceptions, and here the schedule provides for covering 1 year, and meanwhile it will be a year after year. Okay, so it first asile, then Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana. Accident insurance schemes cover accidental death and permanent partial disability. Saving bank account coverage for 1 year. Okay. Then 2 lakhs for death, 1 lakh or 2 lakh for disability. Annual premium rupees 12 per person. Premium payment only through auto debit to SB account. Then the person is eligible to join the scheme through one saving bank account only. So it is Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana under ASE. Okay. Then securitization volume jump 41% in financial year 23. That is done by or said by the ICRA. Securitization ki hoy, it is a process by which a company clubs its different financial assistance or debts to form a consolidated financial instrument which is issued to investors. In return, the investor in such securities get interest. Okay, so a bostutu ahi gol ki securitization. So ki golu moi, the process which enhances the liquidity in the market, and this serves as a useful tool especially for financial companies, as it helps them to raise funds, and also if such a company has already issued a large number of loans to its customers and wants to further add to the number, then the practice of securitization can come in its rescue. So in such a case, the company can club its assets or debts from financial instruments and then issue themselves to the investors. And this enables the firm to raise capital and provide more loans to its customer, and on the other hand, investors are able to diversify their portfolios and earn quality returns. So that is the core element of the securitization volumes, which jumped 41% in this particular year, which has been recently said by ICRA. ICRA boli kole ki koru ami ki bujo? Investment Information and Credit Rating Agency, ICRA. So what is the significance of this ICRA? So it consists of a group of companies including its subsidiaries, and it is a limited public company, and its shares are mentioned even on the Bombay Stock Exchange and even in the National Stock Exchange respectively. So it is one of the nation's most successful credit rating agencies currently, and it rates rupee dominated TAP instrument, and also it has Moody's Investor Service Alliance. So one of the main shareholder of the ICRA is the International Credit Rating Agencies, which is the Moody's Investor Service. So what is the main service that are offered by the ICRA? It is to offer institutional and individual creditors or investors with tips and guidance, and also improving the capacity of lenders or borrowers, the financial markets, to take advantage of a significant amount of capital. So the assistance of regulatory authorities in the promotion of financial market clarity is to increase the mediators, to increase the efficiency of fund rating services. So that is the core element why we need to have a body like ICRA, which is basically independent and is taking its decision based on the rating agencies of the international mechanisms. So yeah, সেইটো কথাই ক'লে যে how securitization involves a pooling of loans and selling them to a special purpose entity so that a lender gets liquidity upfront on the assets it has originated. So what we have seen in 23 financial year, mortgage-backed securitization loans form the biggest chunk of the overall volumes at 33%, followed by vehicle loans at 28%, where the agency said microfinance loans have made a huge comeback, accounting for 20% of the volumes in financial year 23, it's said. So therefore, ICRA and its services are very much important once you are directly having a rating agency like us, that is from the ICRA, where the institutional and individual creditors or investors are giving tips and guidance to make this institution a far better, and also for the securitization purpose, it is much essential to have a body like ICRA. Because obviously, we have to go ahead with the institution of this agency. So the assistance of this regulatory authorities for the promotion of financial market clarity is required for its upbringing. Okay, so therefore, to improve the capacity of the lenders or borrowers to access the financial markets and to also take advantage of the significant amount of capital, this type of bodies are needed. So therefore, ICRA directly says that this time it increased a jump by around 41%, and that is a good sign of India's economy going effectively day by day. So yeah, technique kotha koa goise about securitization. Okay, chalo. So we have come to an end of today's current affairs session. Okay, so I hope this number of information that what we have provided today will be very much useful for you, and also these are very much important for your upcoming mains. I can guarantee you for that. Okay, so please do revise well. We will supply you with the PDFs. Okay, you just have to come via your groups, or if you are not amongst any of the groups, you have just to register with your name and mobile number, and you can directly go ahead with this particular PDFs. Okay, so firstly, here I have to want to tell that we will be launching the full length test series just like the APSC mains, which is the replica of the APSC mains test series. So it is on 17th, 18th and 19th of June. Okay, here you are directly finding off the timetable associated with this particular test. You can scan this code and register now, both in online and offline mode. Also, we'll be coming up with a dedicated ethics case study session, which will be a free sessions on YouTube, where we will directly identify various number of dilemmas, strategize your answer, and you will try to engage with some maximum number of marks in case studies. Okay, and that will be from 20th May 2023. Also, we'll be coming up with some of the dedicated essay sessions, where we will directly be taking some 15 minutes per essay, and all the essays will be based on UPSC mains previous year's question papers, and also from the essays on current affairs related themes, and also some of the philosophical essays. So a gotekhini ami lom right from 20th May 2023 onwards. So if you want to register over here, you can come down and register via this particular code. Okay, so that is with this respective session. So you can contact us for any number of our courses, and also for any number of our doubts associated with your mains or your respective preparation. Okay, so you can scan this code, or you can call us at number 9127515541. So that is all from today from my side. Okay, see you then in some of the another session. That's all. Thank you.